Get ready for another Rogue One! I'm the TheFlannelFox Tim Swernick, and I reviewed Bit Dungeon Plus on the Nintendo Switch. With only a sword and shield in hand, you begin in a room of a dungeon filled with skeleton monsters launching arrows and zombies slowly striding toward you, and it's your duty to slay them all. After you defeat all of the room's enemies, a key drops and possibly some loot. The key allows you to move into the next room, and the loot possibly can upgrade your gear, eventually working your way through the dungeon with the goal of building your character's strength up enough to defeat the boss of the level. The boss room is denoted with a red door. If you needed a clear enough warning, this is it. So when you reach the door, you can either take your chances with the huge octopus head or the splitting alien guts or whatever the boss may be, or you can finish exploring the dungeon around until you level up your character's stats, making you that much more of a formidable foe. Making the mistake of rushing into boss battles without the proper progression can leave you dead, which is this is a roguelike, you start over from the beginning. In Bit Dungeon Plus, you have different tools of the trade when working your way through deadly dungeons. Your melee weapon, whether you have a sword, spear, or a hammer, hitting A quickly will attack, with the chance of a critical attack that causes substantially more damage. Or you can hold A to charge a power attack, which while charged, you can run a little faster to get closer to your enemy and hit A again to perform your devastating power attack. While it looks like the same sort of attack from A Link to the Past, it's performed quite different. Once you get the hang of it though, it's really fun. Timing your charge at the right moment to use your boosted speed to then dodge an incoming attack and land one on your foe takes practice and rewards you as such. Your shield is the bread and butter of your strategy in Bit Dungeon Plus. Holding up your shield by holding the B button blocks all incoming damage but does leave the chance open for you to be dazed, like most sword and shield melee combat systems. However, in Bit Dungeon, you only have a certain amount of attacks that you can block at one time. When holding up your shield, a meter appears over top of your character. As you block damage, it shows the meter decreasing, and if you run out, you'll begin taking damage again. So it's your best practice to block a certain amount of damage, then dodge some attacks to recharge your meter so you can block again. At first I overlooked the shield, trying to hack and slash my way to victory, which was a huge mistake. You really have to have a good balance to succeed through the dungeons. Your magical ability mapped to the X button can work in different ways. To activate, you hold X until your ability powers on, similar to the power melee attack, but depending on the magic you have equipped, at the time it can vary. At the beginning, your attack quickly dazes any enemies in your immediate proximity. Further down the line, your attacks can circle around you and destroy enemies that collide with the orbiting projectiles, or launch a radial attack that launches out from you in all directions. At the end of the level, you have a choice to equip a new magical ability or keep the one that you've come to adore. As you slay more enemies, the progression comes in form of new gear and random room upgrades that you can choose to upgrade your damage, health, or critical attack chance. When gearing up in Bit Dungeon Plus, you'll find new items and chests randomly scattered around the dungeons, in stores where you can loot box style buy a high quality item with the in-game currency you earn, and you typically get a high quality item after a boss fight. After a few levels, you can be quite powerful, making some of the bosses pretty uneventful. When you pick up new items, they float above the chest they were in, and when you get close enough, it displays if the new item's stats compared to your currently equipped items, so you can decide whether it's a good swap or not. This gets a little annoying when traveling back through previously cleared rooms, as the room fills with oversized rats, and when slicing your way through, I accidentally switch items quite often. On the plus side, if you're low on health, you can travel back through these rooms, killing the rats to find HP and MP potions. So if you're on your way to that level's boss fight, you can go into it with full health. As many of the indie games currently being ported over to the Nintendo Switch, this has a retro pixelated art style, and I love it. Pixels will never get old for me. I know a lot of people that are sick of it, but being an NES kid, please keep them coming. As you play through the game, you can use the items that you acquire to customize the aesthetic of your avatar before entering the dungeon for your next playthrough. You do not get the high-powered stats that were once associated with these items, but you look pretty cool. BitDungeon does have a couch co-op with up to 4 players. While it doesn't increase the difficulty of the enemies, it gives you the same amount of loot and stat upgrades as if you were playing with one person, which isn't so much fun. I'd rather have tougher enemies and tons of loot so that everyone can progress with the same chance. If roguelike dungeon crawlers are your thing, which yes, they are absolutely mine, then BitDungeon Plus is a nice addition to your Nintendo Switch library. While I wish I did know why my knight was going on this adventure, the simple mechanics end up creating an addictive combat system that grows along with you as you grow as a player. It is incredibly unpolished as far as animations and the interface go, and the level design is incredibly repetitive, along with some of the boss fights. But I have had hours and hours upon fun working my way through these dungeons, but like I said, I'm a huge roguelike dungeon crawler fan. I've also read in previous console versions of this game that it's been quite buggy, but BitDungeon Plus on the Nintendo Switch plays smooth as butter. Overall, BitDungeon Plus is only $8.99 US, while in some senses you get what you pay for, but if you're a roguelike fan, I think it's absolutely worth giving a go. That's why I'm giving BitDungeon Plus on the Nintendo Switch a 7.5 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video game review, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, follow me on Metacritic and Twitter at TheFlannelFox. See you next time, Switchers!